Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Talk To Me Sis. We are so excited. We have got some very special and, may I say, extremely handsome guests with us today. One thing that Lisa and I really felt strongly about is that we wanted our audience to be able to hear the viewpoint of everybody in the family, because I think that's something that kind of gets missed a lot. Like, you don't always hear how the siblings feel and how the dads feel. So today, I have with me Tanner's younger brother, Maverick Smith. Maverick is 19 and about to graduate from high school. Lise, who do you have with you?
Well, hello, everybody out there in Talk To Me Sis fandom land. Welcome again to another episode. We're glad you're here. Like Nikki said, I'm here with two very handsome young men. I am here with Connor's younger brothers, starting with Ben. Ben is 23 years old and graduated college and looking to get into the workforce. Jack is 20 and he has graduated high school and is in the workforce. So these are Connor's younger brothers.
Love it. Okay, so for all of them, this is a big brother situation. So they all have the unique experience, which I think it does make a difference when your special needs sibling is your older sibling, especially for guys. I think that's a whole different experience. When you are the younger brother and it's your older brother that has special needs. So we want to get these guys' perspective, and just for the audience out there, we told them brutal honesty. We want to know how you really feel. We want to know what the experience was really like for you. So anyway, at least, do you want me to kick it off with the first question?
You got some great questions to start off with. And yeah, exactly. Unfiltered, just please be honest though, because I think this is a lot of parents. We've gotten a lot of feedback that moms and dads of younger kids on the spectrum are going to be listening to us. So I think it's going to be really important for them to hear, if they have other children who are neurotypical,
For sure.
your lens and what they could do may be different or better.
Right. Absolutely. And before I ask the first question, I do want to say to your kids and my kids, I feel personally like I hit the jackpot of siblings. One of the things I am most proud of in this whole family dynamic that we've been living for the last 26 years is how well my other children have handled the experience of having a sibling with special needs. It has blown my mind how unselfish and kind and generous, and how they've celebrated Tanner long before we had a show or anything else. And I'm really just so proud of you, bud. So I appreciate the brother that you've been. So
And I just want to echo that as well, and not only celebrate and just be there for the brother, but just circle the wagons too when he needed them. So yes, I feel the same. Really, really lucky.
Blessed moms for sure. All right, so Maverick, I'm going to hit you first, okay, bud?
Got it.
All right. What part of having a special needs sibling was the hardest for you?
Honestly, I would have to say probably, especially 'cause I'm the youngest, not having as a little kid, I'm saying, not having certain needs met, I guess, from my parents. Probably whether that would be, attention, emotional needs, advice, or even just quality time, I guess, and just I don't know. And really the other thing would probably just be seeing both your parents and your siblings, oldest other siblings as well, just stressed out all the time,
Yep.
those 2 things, it's just, I felt like, mom and dad were always just so it was all about what the other siblings were doing, especially with Tanner, just even though from a young age, like, I understood. Like, I really did. I was never angry at mom and dad, but, like, still, I always felt like I was the left out one, and I was the one who never had any of my needs met, and, like, I was just supposed to have it all together for me.
Lisa, what about you all?
And you can start.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that Nikki, your question was what is the hardest part?
What
Okay,
what would
so
you say was the hardest for you?
I think for me personally, the hardest part then and still like a little bit now is seeing things through his perspective and understanding that he totally processes things in a completely different way than like say Jack or I do.
Right.
And just being really able to like look through his eyes, step into his shoes, and understand this is how Connor sees it.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so it's like, say something super minimal happens, right? Like the light is left on and it's not that big of a crisis. But then all of a sudden, he stomps downstairs, he gets it away. And then it's like all of us are sitting back like, why is he being so annoying about that? But then if you can really like just, all right, it's Connor. He has these habits and this process that he has to do every day. Just sit back, respect it, and understand that if it gets messed with, he's gonna react differently. Just like I think with other people, like neurotypical people, like if their schedule is messed up, I feel like you get a little upset too. So I think that just seeing things through his perspective is probably the hardest part and still is.
Yeah, definitely to piggyback off of that, I would say I would kind of put it this way that there was almost a language barrier, but there wasn't a language barrier.
Yeah.
So exactly to what Ben said, in some instances where Connor would, lose his mind over something that we view as so small, it's just that's just a perfect example of that said language barrier, because it's like we don't get that, but you really do have to be selfless and take a step back and say, okay, I understand Connor's going to look at this and recognize this as something different than I would, and then you have to be patient with that, and that was definitely a learning curve, especially being super young and not understanding a lot of things myself, and then throwing that into the mix. But I think it worked to our benefit, definitely, because we see the world from both lenses now, and we are capable of understanding more so than we used to be, where he's coming from.
Well, I can tell you, I'm sitting here listening to you talk and thinking how well both of you just expressed yourselves about something very deep and very personal at 23 and 20, which I know a lot of guys struggle with doing. So it's already benefited you somewhere, because that was a really good answer.
And I want to, Maverick, that was a really honest answer and a vulnerable answer. And I actually looked something up and I was going to ask, but you kind of led to it. So if it's okay, I just want to jump to one of my questions.
Go for it.
I actually did a little research for this, like siblings and so forth. And there is actually a book and there's a term called the glass child. And the term is used to describe the experiences of siblings of children with chronic diseases and or disabilities. And it includes feelings of being overlooked. It includes, and I was going to ask you guys, can you relate to this term? And Maverick, you kind of led with it. So that's heavy, and that's interesting.
Yeah.
And there is a term for it. It's that glass child, and it's, you can relate to it. Could you guys relate to that? And why? And you kind of gave your why. Yeah, like you're the glass child, like you're there, but parents almost see through you because they're so weighted down by the child in need.
That's what you described. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What
I mean, it's just like you're the carry around kid, I guess. That's what you call it,
But I'm just, and do you think in some ways, Maverick, has this, you've learned other skills then to stand out or whatever. Do you feel like in some ways, even though it wasn't always great, do you feel like in some ways it was character building for you?
Yes, ma'am, it was. I mean, I think I definitely, I definitely have, I think, a lot more patience than typically most kids my age.
Yeah.
And, I'm very, I guess I am more considerate of others, but.
Aware of their differences.
Right. Yes, ma'am. And I mean.
I would agree in watching him.
And it's kind of taught me to like take a step back when other people are in need or whatever, and to just be there for other people, and I guess, and really be considerate most of all.
Think about the why.
Right. Exactly.
That's awesome.
That is.
Would you say you experienced anything like that, or?
No, I can't. I personally, I can't relate to it, but I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I can totally see your point of view. I can't relate.
And I think that's the beauty of why we're even doing this, because it just shows the difference. And because I could say I personally hadn't felt that either, but it makes a lot of sense. It really does. And
it's different in like our family dynamic. Like you guys are the two boys with one sister. Yeah. We have two sisters. And so Maverick really didn't get the experience. I mean, no shade to Tanner at all, but he didn't really get the experience of having a brother. Like Jack, you had Ben to follow.
Yeah, that's a good
bond
point.
with. You had Ben to lead you and show you guy things. And for Mav, it was like not only two sisters, but two very loud, extroverted, opinionated sisters.
Can I add on that?
Yeah.
even though I was thrown that, though, also over the years through different experiences, I have had, whether it be cousins or older guy friends with sports, whatever, you know, you
Stepped into that role.
have have stepped in that role for me. Even coaches, I guess, have stepped in that role for me. And I will say, you know, even though I'm different from Taylor and Midge, you know, most
Very.
but like they were still always there for me, and it's like,
yeah, but it's
you know,
not the same.
even though I mean, yeah, they could never fill that role of that normal older brother, I guess we would say, but they were still always there. And a little funny memory with mostly Midge, for some every little kid, you know, has that fear of like there's like a monster in your closet or under your bed or whatever. And it's like I was little, and Midge was in high school. Yeah, she was in high school, and I would ask her, and I'd be like, Midge, can I sleep with you tonight? And I do remember her having this annoyed look on her face, but she would also say, yes, you can. So like, and I didn't see it then, but like looking back, I
She
could
was
see.
protecting you.
Right.
Yeah.
So Midge, and you know, and that was the time when Tank was still, you know, he was in Glen Forest, but
Still needed a lot.
he still needed a lot, and so
Kudos to Midge for being a good big brother.
Yeah.
well, you know.
No, if I could add on that a little bit, I have felt like the pressures of having an older sibling, being on the spectrum, um, because so there were times when I was like younger, I personally felt like I was the oldest sibling.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So I mean, granted, it would be Anna. I'm just gonna say it.
Right.
It'd be Anna, just like how Midge was yours, but it'd be Anna. But I sometimes felt like the older brother to Jack, like the eldest. So I kind of tried to like I gave myself a lot of responsibility that wasn't mine, but it was just I would try to be this role model and this like emotional guide for him, and it's just because I always tried to be like because if you have an older brother, you'd look to them as like kind of a rock.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You have your parents and then you have your older brother. And it's just for me, and this is not to discredit Connor at all. He's fantastic, as we know. I didn't really have that.
Right.
So then there's Jack. And I'm like, okay, I'm his older brother. I have to act this certain way. I have to let him know what this is right, this is wrong, how to act properly. And I just, the added pressure of that.
For sure.
So I can totally.
We still toured up together though. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I have no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely think to piggyback off of that, again, I think there are a lot of things that, yes, Tanner and Connor couldn't provide for us as younger siblings, but there's also so much that they gave us that nobody else gets.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think we have, I think I'm so blessed because not only do I have Ben as an older brother, but I also have a badass older brother in Connor.
I know.
And seriously, he and Ben can speak to this. I know, and I'm sure Maverick, you can as well. They give us a different lens in life,
They do.
and
They
again,
do.
that just equates to a lot more patience than the average Joe, a lot more, I guess, acceptance we provide than the average Joe. And I think us educating people so that person who hasn't been exposed to this can be exposed to this and can have more patience with when they see somebody in public who is you know showing some unexpected behavior or something like that, not to judge them, not to point and laugh, but to take a step back and say, okay, what's going through their mind right now.
You're always going to kind of champion the underdog.
Well,
Exactly.
and
You know
also,
what?
Jack, I'm sorry, Miss Lee, you can go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Mav. Go ahead.
Jack, I'm adding on top of what Jack said, but really, like, I do kind of think about it. Like, if I were to have a normal older brother, I guess I could have learned a lot how to be like, you know, how to be competitive or be good at sports or flirt with girls. But, you know, I'm kidding. But I guess but also like having Tanner in the situation I've been put in, there are a lot of things that I've learned at a young age that most guys don't learn until like maybe their early 30s.
Or 40 or 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure people right now that are taken away from us. So it's
And what's interesting and what I want to stop right here, and I want the moms and dads listening to this episode, listen, if you have the other kids, the other siblings in the situation and you're younger and you're in the weeds and you can't see this, you got a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 23-year-old with gratitude and grace saying, what a gift it's been, because I know the mom guilt I know the mom guilt and the dad guilt that is there of worrying about your other kids, and listen to these three young men and their lens of like the gratefulness that this person has been put in their family.
Put in their life.
So
It's so amazing.
I hope you can hear that. That's what I'm hearing.
Me too. Me too. All right. I'm going to put the lens back, and I want all of them to answer this. On Lise, you and I better put our armor on, get ready. So what do you guys, and I don't care who goes first, Ben, Jack, Maverick, what do you guys wish this is two parts, wish your parents had done differently? And what stands out to you is what did your parents do right? Like, just give me like one or two things for each. What do you wish they'd done differently? And what do you think you're like, dang, they really nailed that. They were good at that.
What do you got? You
Matt, you got this. You could lead us.
But Ben reacted.
Please go.
All right, Ben, we're all looking at you.
Ben, go ahead. Ben.
I got a lead. Okay.
Yeah.
So starting off with what I could have said she'd have done better.
Yeah, like what's something looking back that maybe would have helped you get through the experience a little smoother?
Really, and I'm gonna sound. To sound boastful here, I really can't think of anything that could have been done better.
No, I think that's wonderful.
And I'm gonna sound like I'm just like totally like at the altar of Lise, but she was a rock star with all four kids.
Please.
Like really, no, it's so true. It's like
You still have to get him. So
I shouldn't have led. I didn't want to lead, but it's like I try to think of all the things that she did wrong, and I can't. And like, cause look, you have a single mother for the most part. She's raising majority boys. So we got our, like, if you want me to say, I mean, she kicked our ass, sure. Awesome. But that was necessary. And I mean, looking back on it, it couldn't have been done any other way. And she found a way to be there for each kid somehow. Whether it's pulling up to a high school to fight a teacher who said something, or to show up to a parent-teacher meeting for like, I mean, I have ADHD, so my grades stunk. So she was able to like figure out like, in the morning she could go to Connor's psychiatrist, and in the evening she'd be at my parent-teacher meeting. It was just like superhero stuff, right? So
what a testament
in a sense, and look at me, I'm getting all the credit here, but it's like in a sense of doing anything differently, no, I don't think she could have done better.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and yet again piggyback off what Ben says. Seriously, you genuinely when you asked that question, you stumped me.
You can't think
because
great.
but seriously, and I'm not somebody who likes to sit in the what if I did this, what if this was done different. I think, and I'll be fully transparent, I think any fan of the show or anybody who's paid a lot of attention to Love on the Spectrum and makes comments about how amazing Connor, there is truly one person to give credit to, and that is Mom.
I agree.
I mean, I remember I had a counselor, we had a family counselor we were very close with, and Mom never let, in the most encouraging way, never let Connor have autism as an excuse. Connor was put in the neurotypical classrooms. Connor was, tasked with things that, that the neurotypical 14, 15-year-old is doing. And yes, he struggled, but Connor took so much from that. And they were all counselors. Well, Connor can come do this. Connor can come do that. And it wasn't an option. And Connor struggled, but ultimately, as the world can see now, he is excelling. So
to pull from Jack,
I love it.
I'd have to say that's what she did right.
Yep. Okay.
100%.
All right, y'all are next.
Oh,
okay.
Good luck. Not a lot of
Really,
pressure, brother.
I mean, it's like y'all said, it's hard to think of anything that my parents did wrong. I mean, I feel like they did everything in their power to help Tanner and also, give as much attention to us as they could. I mean, really, I don't look back and
You don't
think,
feel scarred?
not really.
I think that's our fear from this question is
No,
like,
it is.
where did
and
we
I really
drop the
want to
ball?
know, like, to take into their marriages and their father experiences, whatever they feel like they need to improve on. I want them to be real about it and improve on it. And what we did that they liked, repeat it,
I mean, sometimes it felt like most of the attention was on Tanner, but then again, at a young age, like I understood Tank needed that. Like,
Yeah.
and it was tough. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really, I don't look back and I've never really thought about that. Honestly, that's
an honest
Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
That's great that you're able to understand that, Maverick.
That's
Maverick,
Glad
that's
to
great that
hear
you're
that.
able to understand even at a young age that like, okay, like maybe like is very, very selfless. That's really cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I mean, really, for what they did right or what they did best at, I mean, my parents, I mean, they just sacrificed everything to make sure that Tanner would succeed and that the rest of us would, be mature young adults and,
And we're kind of funny, right?
y'all of us are funny. Yes.
Good old Mark.
Okay, so that one of my other questions was, what is the best quality that you have because of your experience with a special needs sibling? And I think they really just answered it. They are compassionate and grateful and patient, and I would say highly aware. Highly aware.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
which is a very rare quality these days. I don't think very many people are not only not aware of others, but not even very aware of themselves. I think, I think that's something a lot of people could improve on these days, So maybe that's one of the biggest gifts of having a special guy in your life.
So what's interesting, I do have a question thinking about how they all grew up, but I think for Maverick and Jack, this might be a leading question. It's interesting for Ben, but and I don't know, it may be absolutely fine. When, and I don't care who answers first, when did you guys notice or become aware that Tanner or Connor definitely wasn't your average bear and I was acting differently than other kids?
Lie.
Well, or just when did, or like, was there an instance where you were like, hang on,
Were you
You-
always?
I completely agree with that. I don't know. I can't think of a time where it was just always.
What do I do?
You're good. You're good.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was trying to get rid of
No,
the
you're
message.
good. You're good.
Scared me to death.
I'll
I
just
thought I
start.
turned
I'll
it
start
off.
from the top to make it easy on Jacob to edit.
There you
But
go.
where was I gonna say? Yeah, I'll completely agree with that, Maverick. I really. What am I talking about?
No, you just
kind of
there
became
wasn't a time
aware.
where you noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't a time that I think it necessarily like clicked for me. It was always just embedded in me, and I just knew Connor as Connor.
I'm interested in
Yeah.
your answer.
Yeah, because you're closer in age. It's definitely.
I mean, I'm sure
Very close in age.
mom's gonna say something like, "Oh, there was a time you came up to me when you were younger and said something," but I can't remember.
Yeah.
And so, from my personal view of it, was this is Connor being Connor. And then the time when they eventually all told us, they all sat us down and they were like, "Hey, Connor has Asperger's," and they explained it all to us. And then I was kind of just like, it really wasn't that like earth shattering to me. And
Right.
it was, I was just like, "No, it's Connor being Connor, just Connor."
Because the reason I asked, and it was probably Anna, but it was Anna, the reason we even started to consider telling Connor his diagnosis was we hadn't at this point, and he was still young, was Anna and Ben came and said, why does he do that?
Oh.
Why doesn't
Yeah.
he have friends? And you probably don't remember, but I didn't know. And I just thought I'd ask if it was because it was Anna and Ben's questioning of Connor that
Mhm.
made me and my ex-husband say, we can't tell them before we tell Connor.
And
You
they're
know.
only 2 years younger, right?
Yeah,
Very
they're close.
Yeah. Very close. Yeah. Lise, what are some of your other questions on your list?
Let's see. Oh, I have this one, and I'm really curious, and I feel like, did having a special needs sibling affect the way that you interact with other special needs or disabled individuals in school?
That's a tough question. I haven't been around other kids at my school. It was cool when Tanner first went to Clemson Life.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool seeing other disabled kids who, weren't exactly like Tank, I guess, but that's a tough question.
What about you guys?
I'd say 100%. Just being able to, like we've talked about, being aware, understanding, and just approaching people with kindness, like, and just you never know like what someone's got going on, and
Right.
it's like if someone acts a bit differently, like I've just seen so many people. It's like in school, public school is brutal, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just in school, in society, and just like you'll see someone's acting differently, and being exposed to it on the level that we have,
Mhm.
you can normally be like,
Got it.
okay,
Yeah.
I've clocked it, I've read it. Let's be understanding about this person that may be acting in a way that is strange. But
You see other kids.
but you see the people. It is like my sister said this before. It's like you can tell who's been exposed to it. You can tell who hasn't been,
100%.
because the people that haven't been are awful.
Yeah.
And they just no understanding, no
Empathy.
empathy, no desire to understand why,
Right.
and it's just
it's just immature.
Yeah.
Beyond bullshit. When you're going through middle school, I mean, bullying is a real thing, whether you're neurotypical or not. It's just
Yeah.
people that don't necessarily fit in, which is so stupid nowadays. Doesn't matter anymore. But people that don't fit in they pay for it on a day to day. So the worst thing for me, and I don't mean to take away the mic or anything, but I'm just saying that was something I took absolute pride in when I was going through elementary school and the middle school, was to absolutely protect and have a heart for kids like that, and kids that were struggling, whether it was Down syndrome, autism. They were my best friends. I would literally every single day, and my PE coaches knew this, I would go and sit. We had all of the neurotypical kids or people just in the traditional classrooms on one side of the gym, and then they would sit the special needs class on the other side of the gym every single day. Me, and then it was a cool trend because I would start sitting with them every single day when I'd walk in, and then other kids would come in, and the coaches would take our attendance then with their class rather than the others, which was amazing.
I love it.
But that was something that I absolutely was so crucial because
And I actually do remember there was a young man in middle school, a young Spanish boy on the spectrum that Jack didn't have a lot of friends, and Jack was on
Brian
the team, and Jack took him under his wing, and he asked if Brian could have a sleepover. And Brian's parents didn't speak English, and I remember having I have a Spanish speaking coworker text the mother for me, and he had tears in his eyes looking back at me answering the text, and he said she's crying because her son doesn't get invited anywhere and
doesn't have any friends.
And the little boy came to our house and had to spend the night, and they
made cookies
and cookies, and I remember Jack
I love it.
just didn't care. He invited, and so I wasn't sure, and I knew that he really took that on, and I wasn't sure how you felt about it. If
That's awesome. And
Jack,
go ahead.
Jack, I can relate to you, Jack, because even though like at my school there was never a lot of disabled kids with Downs or autism, like even kids who I knew were being bullied or picked on,
yeah
and Taylor was actually she taught at my school for about 2 years, so she had a little bit of insight, so I knew what some kids were, maybe having some
A hard
time, or even a hard time at home with family issues or whatever. And it just like other kids would just pick on them if they acted strange at school. But I I thought that was so immature, even from a young age. And I was always thinking, now guys, there's something wrong in their life, and they probably just need somebody to talk to, or just someone who would just sit down and eat lunch with them. I mean, really,
be kind. Just be kind.
just yeah.
It does have an incredible way of developing that in a young person. It does.
And then I have another question, just curious about, have you guys ever felt, and this is just a real honest question, and it may not be like a cool answer, but have you ever felt resentful of Tanner or resentful of Connor for any reason?
You guys answer first, please.
That's tough because honestly, being completely honest, probably I'm just trying to.
I don't know if I'd use the word resentful.
Okay, wrong word.
I'd go back to what I'd said earlier, and I would be like lacking perspective and how he handles situations. So
Good way to.
And I would obviously I'd get so angry with him because it's like you're being an idiot. Like it's like you're acting.
Just being real, yeah.
You're like, it's like you're not like, and it's just like that would cause like a clash and an argument, and we would just disagree, and I'd get so upset with him because I'm like, how does he not see it my way? How does he not see it that this is what makes sense?
Or that the
like I
right
said,
one is not the
That's when you take
Exactly.
a deep breath.
Exactly, just deep breath. Use the perspective in which you have developed in your experience, right? And then, I think the only time I'd probably see getting angry at him and having an argument over just a misunderstanding of he's seeing this way differently than I'm seeing.
So you're saying like his autism rigidity and inflexibility sometimes is just so it can be infuriating.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely as a kid.
I wouldn't say
Especially when you're younger, right? It's like, it's so much more. And still to this day, happens often. Not often. What's happening? It doesn't happen as often is what I meant to say, but it can still like happen a bit, but then I'm able to like, okay, no, I get it. Just do your thing, man.
And just like disclaimer, and to be honest, Ben and I treat Connor as our brother. Connor is our brother. We butt heads. We argue. We fight. We call each other names.
They tease him.
But
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's
that's as a brother, as brothers, I feel as
That's what
though,
you should do. Yeah.
we help thicken his skin a little bit.
Exactly.
Now, if anybody else does that, it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
You're dealing with us.
It's like we'll pick on
Yeah.
Connor all day. As soon as someone outside the family or outside the
You're
house
done.
does it,
You're
it's like,
done.
okay, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all coming for you now.
It's just it's tough love. That's it. And if I don't
That's
care
what
what anybody.
brothers
Brotherly
do.
love. I wouldn't
Yeah.
call it tough. I'd say it's brotherly
Well,
love.
yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna treat Connor any differently because he has a diagnosis of something. I'm not. I mean, I'll be more understanding about how
Yeah.
he views things, yes. But when it comes to like, oh, we're brothers. The brothers will act a certain way to each other sometimes. I'm not gonna. I see it as I'm not leaving him out.
Mhm.
That's how I see it. I see it as I'm gonna treat Jack like this. I'm gonna treat Connor like this. And
It's
it's
the
the end
best
of the
thing.
story. And
It's
it's
the
just
best thing
totally
in the world for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that makes them feel like, part
Part of
of
the
the
pack.
pack. Yeah.
Part of the
And he
pack.
has
Yeah.
developed a thick skin, I'd say. I think
Yeah.
his skin is way.
Jack still gets under his skin
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Not Jack.
Well, no, listen, it goes both ways. I know people love to say, Connor's an angel. Connor's a human being.
Oh.
Connor can be an
Oh my
ass.
gosh.
I'll be
Oh my gosh. That is the most relatable thing you've said all day. That is like, I'm like, everybody, your brother is so sweet. I'm like, are you sure? Like,
Take it for the weekend.
like,
Yeah.
dude, like, please go live with him for a week and let's, and come back to me and give me a
Yeah.
report.
We deal with some pretty intense OCD over here, don't we?
We do, but
Yeah.
Miss Lees, I mean, you use the word resentful, and I wouldn't use that word. I use the word annoyed. Annoyed.
Yeah.
And there are some moments where I'm just like, he's been, there have been moments where I've just been like, dude, really? Like,
Sometimes when he's home for an extended period of time, Matt will take him go get breakfast or what, and then become like, your turn. He's like,
be like,
your turn.
I'll look at Mitch and Taylor and be like, all right, y'all take him.
All right, you're in charge. Here you go.
Nikki, you had some great questions. What else do you have on your sheet?
Okay. All right. Don't care who takes it first. You all might not be at this phase in life, but have you given any thought to the possibility of having a special needs child later in life yourself, like being a father to a special needs child?
Yeah, Ben could. Oh, sorry,
No,
Matt.
Ben.
I'm on it. And I've had this conversation before. And I know that we have the best grandmother to handle it. Like literally.
Oh,
I have the perfect blueprint of how to go about it.
Yeah.
Like it is amazing. Because my girlfriend said this to me once. She said, because we were talking about potential kids. It's like, what if, like, because you have these conversations, right? Like, what if this? And I'm like, do you know who my mother is?
Oh,
And
Ben.
then it's like, then she's like, Lisa just be perfect. She'd be perfect to handle that. And she's even able to see that. We've been in for like 3 years now. And she's like, her mind, as well as like, if that were to happen, is at ease because of Lise. Because we know how to do it. Like the
can't think of
blueprint's
higher
been set.
praise.
There's no other way to go about it.
That's the nicest thing I've ever heard, Ben. Seriously. That's
I mean,
amazing.
it's really how we felt. And it is a conversation that we have had. It's like,
Yeah. And I don't think
there's
it's
no fear at all.
I don't
So
think
it
it's
has
something
not
you.
squelched your desire to have kids at all.
No.
Awesome.
Of course, it's not something. Of course, it's not something you hope for.
Right.
Because it causes a lot of
It's harder.
Financial strain.
It's
emotional-
hard. Yeah.
Well, more than fun. I mean, just mental hardship, for that individual. But I think, yeah, I could.
I'd have to say the only thing I worry about with that being a possibility is like the parental like how other kids are going to treat my kid and the perception
Right.
that's like, and just being like calm and like cool about that. But it's like I said, I've seen it done before very successfully. So yeah.
How about you, Math?
Have you ever thought about it?
I have not, but I would kind of agree with Jack. I wouldn't necessarily choose that for my child, but also if that were to happen, I wouldn't be upset because it's like, okay, I've done this before, so I know what to expect. And also, there was a point in my life, where when I was younger that I kind of thought about, do I really want to have kids? But now because I've seen what I've learned and everything, I think it, helped me be a better father.
Yeah, definitely. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn this light.
Hang on, jacket. We just had a light issue, so I don't know if Jacob can just edit this out.
Did this
Probably.
fly?
There's a charging cord in my office. Is it dead?
No.
Okay, I came back on. Okay, there we are. Sorry, our light just went off.
Good. You're good.
Nikki, do you have this question? And I don't know, but I'd like to ask it now because we did talk about their potential being parents or whatever. But have you guys, because this is what's on, and it came out in an episode when we did speak with the dads, as a real fear we have as parents of Connor and Tanner, is that Nikki and Mark and Lise and Tony and Simon are not going to live forever.
Right. Yes, I have it.
And-
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to take it from?
No, I want you to keep going. Say, we were thinking alike.
Yeah. And it's like, it's my biggest fear. Who will be there for Connor? Because Connor doesn't drive.
It's such
Who's
a
gonna be
layered
there for Connor? So that is a big, have you, Mav, talked to Taylor and Midge about this?
Well,
Or have you
actually,
guys
we've already
talked about
done with Taylor. Didn't you? She signed.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Like,
Right now, Taylor and Jimmy were but like, do you personally have any misgivings or any fears about that? Or is that something you're worried about?
I have thought about it a little bit, but not much.
Mhm.
I will, I'm sure Taylor and Jimmy would probably be his main guardians, I guess. But
Mhm.
I would of course still be there for him, and I would always be there if something were to happen.
Is that something like, you're not dating anybody seriously yet, but is that something that you would look for in a girl, that she'd be open to a scenario like that?
I've never thought about that, but
Mhm.
probably yes. Honestly, I've
Mhm.
never thought about it, but yeah.
What about you guys?
So as of right now, I want him. Are you kidding me? Like endless babysitting, and my kid gets to learn about dragons and swords. As of right now, so
Culture.
any kind of conversation that I've had with my girlfriend, like, hey, we run the real, we run the possibility of like Connor actually living with us,
Mhm.
and she's like, that'd be so fun. That's amazing. I'd love that. And I'm like, good, because if you said anything else, you're out the door.
I
So
love
it's just
that.
like, truly, Connor has, out of all of his siblings, I can think of, like, if I could speak for you a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He has such a massive, like, solid support base, I guess. I don't know. So, like my dad said, back when y'all first had Connor, like, oh, the debate about more siblings, right? And then he said, the best thing you could give Connor is his siblings.
Yes.
And I think I can confidently tell you 100%, nothing to worry about, because uh, no one will let Connor go without. None of
Yeah.
the siblings will. Even if he can be crotchety and leave, like, be mad when the lights are on, we look past that and we're just like, no. And I almost think it's going to be a custody battle for him. I mean, but
There could be
no,
fighting.
Connor is totally. I think he's set. I think he's good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was gonna say, I mean, I think I'll probably lose the battle of who's gonna get Connor
You're the
between Anna
youngest.
and Ben because they want him so bad. But no, a million percent. And to your question about a future spouse, is that something that would be, and exactly what Ben said, it's 100% a deal breaker.
Yeah.
100% a deal breaker
Like, if they
because
can't handle Connor, they can't handle you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like you guys are a package.
yeah, like goodbye.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's crazy because I think when we were recording the episode with the dads, like, Mark worries about it so much from a financial perspective, like thinking about putting the financial burden and the money management and, providing. But I have never emotionally really worried about it because I know it will just go down the line and it'll be like, who lives in the closest proximity? Who does it make the most sense for? I've never really worried that any of these three wouldn't step in if needed.
It would probably be Taylor and then me because Midge is loves to travel too much.
We don't know where Midge is going to be.
We don't know. She might be in Africa. She might be in.
There's no telling. When she hears this, she's going to be like, leave me alone. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. All right, Lise, what else you got?
Have you guys ever felt like when your parents were around, like maybe your parents went out on a date night and there was a babysitter, and I know you guys were in this situation a lot. You were in daycares with Connor. You were had babysitters. I was a single mom doing all of it. But did you ever feel like you had to be his parent? Did you ever feel like you had to parent Tanner? Like you almost had a Freaky Friday where you're the big brother?
I think so. It looks that way. Do you?
I would say for the most part, I mean, Taylor, who's the oldest, I mean, she is literally quite honestly been the most responsible out of the four of us, and she's always been like the second mama to us. I mean, not just to Tanner, but to Midge and I as well. Um,
But what about you personally? Do you ever feel like you're parenting him?
I don't know if I would say a parent Tanner, but I guess where I've had to emotionally kind of be there for him when he didn't understand something. So in that way, yes, but other than that, not necessarily.
Not to like take the floor because this is about the boys, but that's interesting to me that he says that because me looking at him as a mother, it breaks my heart in a good way and a sad way when I watch him 7 years younger drive Tanner and like entertain, like, oh, I'll take him out to lunch and we'll go to Walmart and we'll go visit Nana Papa or Uncle T or whatever and make an afternoon of it. And the roles are reversed. And I'm watching Tanner ask Maverick, how do I pay for this or how do I? And I'm like, I don't know. To me, it's just like the most tender thing to watch. But I don't know if you even totally realize it because it's literally all you've ever known.
Mhm.
I mean, you just have never known anything different. And that's beautiful and a little heartbreaking at the same time. It's a little bit simultaneously a beautiful thing and a heartbreaking thing, but it's more beautiful. And as we live longer, it gets more and more so that way. But I do think it has put a level of maturity and kindness in you that you would not have otherwise.
Right. Well, I mean, you make a great point there. I mean, really.
I mean, you boys like to daycare, school, when you guys were out, or babysitters. Did you ever feel like you jumped in that role?
I don't feel like I jumped into the role of parent per se. I jumped into the role of older brother, and I would view Connor as my younger brother. And it was just like we'd be out, he'd be doing something, and it's just like, okay, I know that this isn't right. So I'd go over and I'd be like, hey, no, just like I kind of had to reel him in a bit.
Come with
And
me.
I mean, obviously in daycares, kids would pick on him because he's talking to himself by the wall. And it's like, hey, I wouldn't stand up to the kids because we weren't there yet. But it was like I'd be like, Connor, just come here, hang out with me, sit, stay, do not move. Right? Because it's like you're just trying to protect them from that, and you're trying to protect them from just the opinions of others and how hurtful it can be. And in the meantime, he's just so unaware of like what's actually happening that he takes it. He would take it as I'm bossing him around and telling him what to do. And then I mean, Jack's had to take on this role as well.
Ben, that's
yeah.
actually a good point you make. I want to add it because feel like when I got to a certain age, it might have been when I was 15 or 16 and first started driving. I do feel like there was a point in Tanner's mind where he really did realize that, like, mentally, I'm kind of the older brother and he's younger brother.
There was
So that
a weird shift.
there was a weird shift in that at one point in our lives. And that's why I've always tried to be careful not to be too bossy around him.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I've always tried to be like, I know in my head I'm the mentally mature one, but like, I still, I don't want to make it feel like I'm trying to boss him around all the time.
You've been very nice. I could tell when Tanner sort of realized that Maverick it was almost unspoken. Like he realized that Maverick was starting to do things that he was not going to do. And there was just this strange little acceptance and sort of like energy shift where before maybe that you guys kind of weren't as close, honestly, when you were little and you guys didn't really interact as much. He was always with the girls.
We did things together. I mean, we did.
But it wasn't
it wasn't as tight.
Now he seeks Maverick out.
Right.
Now that they're adults, he seeks Maverick out and like he wants to ride in Maverick's truck. He wants to go where Maverick's going. And before he didn't really care.
And I even remember this was not long ago, but like when when Tank would come home and mom would send us on like grocery hauls when I was first started driving, I could tell he really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Because I guess because he knew, I think Tank knew that I was getting older and getting,
Yeah.
And that's when and honestly, but like when it happened though, like I knew Tank was starting to sense that he started to realize that like mentally
he could depend on you.
Right.
What about you, Jack?
Honestly, nothing outside of what you guys have hit on, besides being knowing when you're out in public, you know, just being there for him when he doesn't necessarily understand something or whatnot. But I don't think I'd ever taken over.
I want to say here though, I challenge you a little, because now, especially if we have to go to an event or something, Jack's like, I got Jack Connor's outfit. Connor, come with me, and he'll take.
Yeah, but you know what?
About-
That's the big brother thing. Just to go along with all that. Yeah, I mean, if we do have an event or Connor needs anything, we're just absolutely there for him. But Ben would do the same. Anna does the same. I mean,
She does.
Ben
yeah.
does the same. So we all do the same.
The only one of my children who I know has done something physical to another child because they were being rude to Tanner is Taylor. So we'll give her the crown of being the knockout queen.
Well, wait, someone being rude to Tana?
Yeah, remember when she beat that kid up at church?
No, I don't remember.
You were little.
She did that?
Yeah, she did. She threw hands at church.
Gangster.
It's always the girl, isn't it?
It's always the girl.
Because we have a similar situation where our younger sister nunchucked the Hannah Montana purse and was fighting off the droves of Connor slanderers. Like, it was
Anna,
just, he's like,
bringing Hannah Montana around, baby.
it was outside a pizza parlor, and I was just watching it, and I'm like, what is she doing? And she's just like, back up. It was just, yeah.
We'll say having a special needs siblings makes for a tough sister. It
Oh,
makes
yeah.
for a strong woman.
The Iron Lady.
The Iron Ladies, it really
The Iron
does.
Lady for sure.
It
The
really
Iron
does.
Lady.
Yeah.
Stubborn as well.
That's right. True that.
So I do have one other kind of interesting question. How do you guys feel now? Because you probably have friends and families nearby that have all neurotypical children in them or neurotypical kids. How do you feel like your life was different from other kids, like your friends and growing up? Did you feel like, wow, look at that family, this or that? Did you covet something? Did you feel like your life, because you had this individual with extra needs, was different in any plus or minus ways from your friends and their families?
Go, Jack.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't thought about that. Obviously, I was aware it was different, but I never really thought it was a better or worse situation.
Okay, good.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Like, never better or worse. Just this is ours. That's theirs.
Different path.
No, it's like just. I mean, and
Your family is your family. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's like, yeah, it's totally fine.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. What about you?
I've never thought about that a whole bunch, but I will say, I guess from a young age, I was always kind of aware that other families were just doing their normal things and not having to worry about things that we were having to worry about. But I've only thought about that question a little bit.
Yeah.
Not much.
It didn't bother you?
No, not really.
I'll tell you how I felt about it as a mom. I thought everybody else had it so easy. To be honest.
Amen, right there.
People with all neurotypical kids, I was like, dang, that's a cakewalk.
Y'all don't know what a bad day is. You don't know.
You don't know what a bad day is.
Let's get some real overthinking going on and then talk to me. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm looking through my questions.
Kind of like my questions, Nikki.
I think they've kind of hit everything because we sort of gave multi-part answers. Well, let me just say, y'all are like the nicest boys, all three of you.
Because we're on camera.
Yeah, don't be fooled.
Because we're on camera.
Don't be fooled.
Yeah.
They actually are. I'm telling you, I'm lucky.
I know, and there's nothing like having a son. Like seriously,
Yeah.
it's just
I'll just say, yeah,
relationship.
mother-son bond is something cool. It really
100%.
is.
But I'll just say, I think it's so amazing and it's such a cool adventure that we all get to be on.
I know.
Not only because of the show, I mean, really, it roots from the show, how genuine and real that show is. But now it's trickling down to our social media platforms, and you don't see that a lot on social media.
Right.
There's a gap in the market there.
I agree.
So I think us getting to fill that and us getting to work together as families and educate as much as we can has been a really cool opportunity, and it's been amazing. Yeah.
And I mean, I think like, again, we said this in one of our previous episodes of why we're here. And it is, we got some feedback today on our launching our stuff, is these younger parents are in our messages or in our comments.
Yes.
And we didn't have a Nikki and a Lise to look up to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And just if our voices help one mom, one dad, one caregiver, one sibling, somebody to keep your chin up, keep your head back, you know, that's why we're here. And I want to kind of end on this note.
Yes.
What, as a Maverick and a Ben and a Jack, what advice to any parents, not the parents though, the siblings, what would you say, sibling to
Yes.
sibling of another kid who's maybe
Miss
not
Lees,
feeling as good?
Miss Lees, could I say build off one thing Jack said before we answer that
Sure.
question?
Please.
I will just say, Jack, you mentioned about the whole having this a disabled sibling as being like an adventure kind of. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'm saying the fact that we're kind of on an adventure together as families, educating
All
the
these
world.
opportunities. Yeah.
I'll kind of build off what you said a little bit, Jack. I honestly, to me, and I think probably Midge and Taylor can agree with me on this. I think it's been honestly an unexpected testimony, is what I would call it. Because I'm gonna gloat on mom a little bit. You know, I can't. Mom, you moved over here to South Carolina. What, 19?
18.
18. So, you know, my mom is a literal badass. I mean, she moved here at such a young age. She and my dad got married early. I mean, when they were young, excuse me. And then to have your second child, I mean, be diagnosed and have two others behind that. I mean, I think it just took her so much faith. And, you know, and mom has literally and she can agree totally on this. She's gotten to see God's faithfulness in Tank's life and just everything. I mean, really, it's just been an unexpected testimony, not just to other people, but to our family mostly. And just we've seen, I mean, mom literally, her faith has just held our family together, even through those tough days. I mean, she really did. I mean, really.
That's beautiful.
No, you're exactly right, Maverick.
That's
You're
beautiful.
exactly right.
That's beautiful. So Maverick, what would you say to other siblings out there that may listen to this? What would you say?
If a little kid comes up and says, "Oh, I just found out my little brother has autism," what would you say to him?
Two things. First thing, I would say to be patient and to not hold any bitterness against not only your disabled sibling but also your parents, because you don't really know what kind of tough decision they're having to make, or what stress or anxiety they might be having to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And really more specifically on what birth order you might have been given. If you're the oldest child, learn to be the responsible one who mom and dad can always rely on, and who can be like a helper almost. If you're the middle child, per se, be the one who can just have faith and just have a positive attitude all the time,
Midge.
and just, and just be there for mom and dad. And if you're the youngest child, I always just say, learn to just be the quiet strength of the family, and just understand that it's not all about you, and that you are learning so much that other kids just never really learn in early childhood.
Love that.
Taking notes, Maverick.
Love that, Matt. Ben, what would you
That was
tell
good. That was good. That
the
was awesome.
siblings that might be listening to this that just want to hear something?
So for siblings who have someone that may be on the spectrum in their family, I would just say it's a learning process, and it is an adventure for sure. And just like above all, it's okay to be impatient. It's okay to be annoyed. It's okay to not understand.
Yeah.
You will get there. I promise you. At the end of the day, because now it's like when I was younger to like how I am now. I've learned from Connor how to like navigate like the situations that occur uh regarding people on the spectrum, and I now know how to navigate him as a brother and our brotherly relationship, and it was a lot of work. It was hard because it wasn't perfect. I just want to say it's okay, for the imperfection is okay. That's what I
That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah, I would say, appreciate what you've been given. And it may seem it may be really cloudy in the beginning, and it may be
Yeah.
unclear, but take it from us. I mean, we are now better men, and going to be uh, great men, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
of what we've seen. And I say this a lot, and I may have spoken to it already, but like I said, that, even if it is your older brother, for example, in our situation, it's all I can really speak to. But you'd think about the traditional ways you would look up to an older brother. Some of the ways I looked up to Ben. You may not have that. That may not be there for you. but open your eyes and find the things that you can look up to. Because I'll tell you, I look up to Connor in so many different, they may not be your typical ways that you would look up to an older brother, but there are so many things that I see Connor do that I'm like, I could never do that. That's something I really wish I could do. Or, just there are things that you
See their gifts.
exactly see their gifts and appreciate what you've been given, because you've been given a gift, really.
I love it. Those are beautiful words. And I think, man, at least the overarching message of this podcast for younger parents is don't let the guilt eat you up. Don't let the stress and the overstimulation wreck you, because they're gonna be okay. I mean, if your kids can sense when you just are loving them and doing your very best, and when they live a little bit longer and watch you a little bit longer, they're gonna understand that you were giving them all they got. And we got 3 testaments to that right here.
We really do. And
I did so many things wrong. I know I screwed up so much, but we still got great kids.
that I think you said the overarching message is just hear what these boys are saying right now. And honestly, I think I used to tell people who looked at me with a single mom, how do you do it? How you have and I said, well, I only have 100% to give.
Right.
And I have 4 kids. That doesn't mean each get 25%, because sometimes Connor's getting 75 and the other 3 are splitting the 25.
25. Yeah.
And sometimes he got the 75 or he got the 100. But you only have, and as a parent, listen to this. How many tiers of pillows, wet pillowcases did you and I have when no one was looking? And
absolutely.
You feel like you don't have enough, and just get quiet courage to get up the next day.
Yeah.
And do it all over again and give what you can. But no, there were many days, weeks, years that one of my kids didn't get my 100%, even my 10. And I have 4 amazing young adults.
Look at them now.
So
Exactly.
trust the process, forgive yourself.
Yes.
Forgive yourself, give yourself some rope, self-care, and it's going to be, I promise. I wish I had a Lisa and Nikki to look to. I promise we're here for you guys. Look around, look at our young men.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
People for it. They will. You'll see it. You'll see it come out. I love it. You guys did so great. Thank y'all for doing it.
So thank you guys for coming on. I know it's
great questions. Great questions.
I really appreciate y'all taking the time, though. It means a lot. It means a lot. And just, wow, what a testament to your mom. And it's amazing. So sweet.
Thank you, guys. Well, we're going to sign off. So Nikki,
okay.
you're listening.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah. And thank you all for coming on. Thank you for joining us, everyone who's listening and watching. And we love you, mean it.
You mean it. Okay, Nick.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.